Hello guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. Today is 3rd January 2024. My name is T.S.V. Raghavan and I live in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. This is my spiritual vlog on YouTube. Hardan, 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 Hari Bol, TRSV, Nectar, NECTAR, Nectar. In this particular vlog, in all my previous videos, we have been discussing about the knowledge and information that we have gleaned through the study of spiritual books, scriptures, contemplation on the material universe, and meditation on the spiritual universe. This particular video in this vlog is no exception to that rule. In fact, it is a mere continuation of all that we have been trying to do in all my previous videos. So kindly subscribe to this vlog and press the bell icon so that I may keep reminding you of all my previous, present and future videos. So let us continue with the topic of discussion for today's video. In the past few videos, we have been trying to discuss and analyze a particular term called mind, which plays a perennial role in the life and psyche of every human living entity, whether male or female, in a lifetime in this material world. This mind, according to Srimad Bhagavad Gita, a segment from the great Hindu epic Mahabharata, is the main driving instrument for the chariot of this living entity and the guide to take this particular chariot to a particular destination as decided before the birth of this chariot or a living entity according to his or her destiny and karma. This mind is subtle in nature and is supposed to be a repository of vibrations emanating and transmitting from the three causal bodies of a human living entity that are the causal body of intelligence, the astral body of mind, feelings and emotions, and the etheric body of senses being five in a number, that is, sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. This repository called mind, which is also made up of ether that makes these subtle bodies, transmits those vibrations further into a mass of tissues called brain in the gross body of a human living entity, whether male or female. This brain processes some of these vibrations according to various factors concerning that living entity, then extracts a juice out of such selected vibrations and percolates down the gross body of that living entity so that he or she may act according to that juice. This has been going on for times immemorial, right from the time when human species came into existence in this material world. This may be the method used in the case of other species of living entities also, but this whole process is not so significantly developed in the case of other species who at best listen only to the etheric body of senses and not to the astral body of mind, feelings, and emotions, or the causal body of intelligence and logic. Because this mind is perennial in the life and psyche of every human living entity, hence, we are trying to analyze this mind to see how it works and designs and shapes the life of every human living entity, whether male or female, in a lifetime in this material world. We must remember that every single human living entity, regardless of his or her sex, is equipped with one mind of his or her own and one brain of his or her own. That is the reason why the vibrations from the mind to the brain in various living entities and the selection of these vibrations and processing thereof in- is different in the case of every human living entity belonging to any sex, caste, creed, race, coloring, ego, intelligence, experiences, destiny, and karma. This is precisely the reason for the variety of living entities that inhabit this material world in one particular lifetime. We have different living entities acting according to their own whims and fantasies, tastes, preferences, knowledge, experience, maturity, age, destiny, karma, surrounding, atmosphere, or birth. No one is an exception to this rule. In this process, we are discussing about various case histories which would further vouch for this argument of ours. In the past video, we were trying to discuss in detail about some living entities who became our case histories and who worshipped the dark negative forces of this material world and were very active and were a part and parcel of the dark underworld of the commercial metropolis called Mumbai in the state of Maharashtra in India. Our main protagonist in this case history is one person called Dawood Ibrahim Kaskar, who is supposed to be an international don from India and who is dealing in crores and crores of money pertaining to various illegal rackets, including drug smuggling, prostitution, hawala, money laundering, extortion, murder, gun running, terrorism, and so forth. But before he reached this stage, we are discussing about how this person's mind worked and what made him such a very ominous and awesome don in the international theater of the underworld. We know by now that Dawood Ibrahim Kaskar's father was a police constable in the Nagpada police station in the same city of Mumbai in India. Those days it was called Bombay and not Mumbai, and it was the capital of the state of Maharashtra in India. Dawood began his illegal career in this underworld under the guidance and umbrella of his elder brother called Sabir, who was known for his daredevilry, negative courage, brawling, violence, and short temper. This gang of the two brothers, along with others, was in animosity with another gang called the Pathans, who ruled the one part of the underworld of Bombay at that particular time. When this skirmish started, nobody could have ever imagined that this Dawood and Sabir gang will win over the running gang war with the Pathans in the long run. However, there was some price to pay. Sabir got murdered by the Pathan gang during this skirmish, leaving Dawood distraught, high and dry. But unlike Sabir, Dawood had a very cool, calculated, and commercial mind. His idea at that time was not to become a gangster but to become a businessman. Thanks to his background and his circumstances, Dawood had to make do as a as an unscrupulous businessman from the dark, negative underworld of Mumbai, which was the commercial capital of India at that time. Because Dawood was averse to taking up arms against the Pathans during this time, he looked for greener opportunities. It is said that at that time he befriended some professional businessmen of India who were thriving in this commercial capital through their various businesses. Those people needed the required muscle in the underworld to carry on with their business without dirtying their own hands. At that time, Dawood got introduced to this network of not so scrupulous businessmen and builders and other people dealing in nefarious activities. Unlike Don Karim Lala, Don Varda Bhai, or Don Haji Mastan, Dawood was not averse to act as a front for this group of unscrupulous businessmen. They decided to become his friend, philosopher, guide, and a link between their own network of business and the Mumbai underworld. They had the awesome Karim Lala, Haji Mastan, Varadarajan Mudaliar, and the Shiva Sena government to face while dealing with their own business. Plus, there was one trade union leader called Datta Samant, who was an awesome presence at that time in the Mumbai commercial scene. These people needed one front who could help them carry on with their own business in this hotbed of violence, intrigue, murder, extortion, etc., so that they could thrive in this industry, in this commercial capital. Dawood's father was already a police constable who was friendly with Don Haji Mastan and some people of that time in the underworld. When Dawood came into the scene, he came in very handy for those commercial businessmen in the sense that he had a protector in his own police father plus Don Haji Mastan, who was friendly with both Karim Lala and Vardharaja Mudaliar. Both Karim Lala and Vardharaja Mudaliar had separate businesses, but the three acted in collaboration and mutual friendliness with each other without interfering in each other's territory. Of these, Karim Lala was the most powerful and successful in the underworld in the sense that he had a huge network of wine shops, gambling dens, and had a big war chest in his kitty. Vardaraja Mudaliyar had a very big army of goons and hitmen who could take on the whole underworld when it came to violence, theft, wine distilleries, wine distribution, and other such nefarious activities. Haji Mastan was a successful smuggler who was very friendly with the sheikhs of the Middle East in West Asia. Thus, these three powers could have a link in Daud Ibrahim with the businessmen of Mumbai of that time. Anyway, this shows how the mind of people who are either in the fringe of the underworld or deep into the underworld works. These people show that they have no scruples, are very selfish, careless, and indifferent to the commoners of a particular area where they thrive with the commoners. Many of them, especially these businessmen who were otherwise a part of this civilized society, were actually in the fringe of the underworld, thus trying to sail in two different boats at the same time. To carry on with this case history further, let us continue from the day when Sabir was murdered by the Pathan gangs. Without any design, without doing it advertently, or without any choice, it came and fell upon Daud Ibrahim Kaskar to guide his own very tangled web of gang of not so professional and intelligent soldiers. However, it was now his responsibility to continue with where Sabir had left when he was alive. As mentioned before, Dawood was of the type who did not want to resort to violence or fights, especially when it was very necessary. Yes, he was deep, knee deep, and neck deep into this crime and underworld of Mumbai, but yet he was averse to taking up arms in himself. Having been working with these businessmen, Dawood knew how to get his violent work done by using outside muscle in the underworld. At that time, there was another goon who was a protege of none other than the fearsome and awesome Don Vardharaja Mudalya. Fearsome and awesome that he was, Vardharaja Mudalya was too shy to directly get involved in the turf war between other gangs, especially that of Don Karim Lala or Don Haji Mastan. He made it very clear to his own henchmen in his own gang that he was averse to interfering in that gang or at any cost, and he would not appreciate if his own men got involved in it. And if they did it on their own risk without expecting any help from Don Varatharaja Mudalya. This was very well known in the underworld of that time. Everyone knew that the moment any gangster crossed lines and did not follow Varsabai's dictats in this manner, lost Varsabai as a friend forever. However, this does not deter the goon called Rajan Nair or Bala Rajan, who was initially a protege of Don Varsaraja Mudalya. Nair was as greedy, as avaricious, and as deadly as other people of his own ilk. This Rajan Nair had a very close friend called Abdul Kunju. Both hailed from the state of Kerala in South India. However, this Rajan Nair was once arrested by the Nagpara police or Mumbai police once and sentenced to an imprisonment in the Bombay Central Prison. Vajradhan Madhya had committed this crime of stealing a typewriter and selling it in the market only to appease his own girlfriend's desire for some expensive gift. However, Badarajan, as Rajan Nair was called, was promptly arrested by the Bombay police and tried and sentenced to a short imprisonment for this crime. When this Rajan Nair went there, something happened which proved the very famous proverb in English called "There is no honor among thieves." The people in the underworld only think about their own permanent interests. They do not have any permanent friend or enemy. Such is the working thought, views, and opinions of their own individual mind. It is different from that of other decent human beings who are a part of the civilized society. These people do not act according to what is known in civilized society as character or conscience. Abdul Kunju and Bala Rajan belonged to the same state in India and were closest of friends. But when Balarajan had to go to the prison on a short stint, he requested his own friend Abdul Kunju to protect and take care of the same girlfriend for whom Balarajan had committed a crime that had resulted in his prison sentence. Balarajan went to prison thinking that he had Abdul Kunju as a friend, protector, and guide. But how wrong he was, we will know in my next video. I would like to conclude this particular video of case history of the Bombay underworld here itself. Kindly let me know what you think of my talk on this particular subject. Please give me your own expert views, opinions, thoughts, and ideas so that I may blend everything together for the sake of this society. Before concluding, let me remind you that I am also a published author with Amazon Kindle and paperback. I write on spiritualism, fiction, and assorted subjects. Spiritualism happens to be my favorite subject. Till we meet in my next video, it is good morning from TSV Raghavan.